All right, what's up, everyone? So, bear with me here. I'm not a big YouTuber. I'm not going to have a cool edit on this. I'm not going to tell you to smash any like buttons or subscribe or share anything. This is just a little informational video that I wanted to put out there on the new Silverado 5500 HD trucks. So, when I was looking at buying one, there's a lot of reviews from people that were looking at them at dealerships and or they had just barely bought them. Well, this is a 1-year review. I've owned this truck now for a year. It's got about 32,000 miles on it now, and I wanted to kind of give a little more in-depth understanding of these trucks, if that makes any sense. So it's a 2021 Silverado 5500. It's the 19.5 weight rating. It's the 232 or whatever inch chassis. Two-wheel drive. In order for me to find one in four-wheel drive, it was like a 10 or 11 month wait. I didn't have that time, so I went ahead and bought a two-wheel drive. This was a white truck. I had it painted black. I had the dealership build the truck with Morgan truck bodies. The dealership painted it black. The dealership had Morgan build the body, or the box. They installed a couple of toolboxes on the sides. They installed a 3,000-pound Palfinger liftgate, one that would accommodate a trailer hitch. So it's big, it's a tank, it's pretty heavy. It turns like a train. Everyone talks about how sharp it turns, but I'm seeing I don't know what they're talking about as far as it turning sharp, because this thing turns like a train. So maybe it's just because this is the super long one. Obviously, the longer the wheelbase, the worse turning radius you're gonna have. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about a couple of things I like, a couple of things I don't like. So I really like the rear. So I've got sheets on the seats because what I do for work, I'm a coatings contractor, so I do a lot of concrete coatings, and so me and my guys get really dirty, and I didn't want anything on the seats. But that brings me to the first thing I don't like about the truck, and that is that it's very hard to get aftermarket things for it. Seat covers, just stupid things like storage options. There's not very many aftermarket things available for this thing. So that's what I hate about it first. I'm waiting on a pair of custom seat covers to come in. Let's see, what else do I hate about the truck? Oh, while I'm over here, I hate the location of this. It's hard to get into, it's hard to plug in when you've got someone sitting here. And so I use it to charge batteries. So I've always got batteries being charged, but it's really hard when you've got someone sitting there to change that out. So that's kind of stupid, but you know, it's not a deal breaker. It's not a big deal. I installed an aftermarket stereo, whatever the hell you want to call it now. It's got a backup camera, which is located clear up there. So I'm not real stoked on that backup camera. I prefer the fisheye lens. You can see out there a little bit further. But let's see. Now another thing I hate about it, and that's what everybody has hated about this damn thing, is the horn. This horn sucks. I don't know what Chevy thought they were doing by putting like a moped horn on it. I mean, that's literally what it's like. It's like a moped horn. So and everybody has how the hood opens, which is really cool actually. I actually really like that. Makes it easy to get in here and work on everything. So I installed a semi-truck horn. Don't laugh at my install. You know, I've got a zip tie here holding it on. There wasn't a real great way to mount it in here, and this little inner fender is plastic. So anyway, I put a semi-truck horn on it. I've got a Horn Blaster's air switch, and so I wired it into the factory horn. So when I push the horn button on the steering wheel, it actually will honk that train horn. So I installed the little air compressor in the side bin toolbox just to keep it out of the weather. It's got a little air gun to blow dust off us or whatever we get on us. Like I said, everything we do is really dusty, really dirty. So steps are good because the truck is a little taller. The steps are really nice to get into. Now this one, I came out one day, came out of Home Depot, and somebody left one of those flatbed orange steel carts underneath the truck, and it was on the other side of the truck from, you know, it's on the passenger side, so I didn't see it. And when I drove away, it popped up and bent that step. So I got to get a new step now, which is a special order. Let's see. I put the cool spikes on it just because got to have the cool wheel spikes on it, right? I mean, they're just plastic, but they still freak people out. It's it's pretty funny. What I don't like is the auxiliary switches. Chevy doesn't. They don't make it easy to get into those and to tie things into those. So I have a switch for my air compressor, a switch for the lift gate, and a switch for the interior light inside the box mounted right here. Because Chevy like I said, they don't make it easy. In order to tie into the auxiliary switches, you have to get up in here and pull this apart, order some secondary switches or something, and those were on back order. I couldn't even get any. So this is just kind of the dumb stuff. So I've got 32-ish thousand miles on it now. And so let me tell you about the things I don't like. Or the things I've had to repair anyway. So before I even took ownership of the truck, when the dealership was still having the body built and the truck painted for me, I was getting all kinds of alerts to my phone for check engine codes. Brake switches. It was a brake switch that went out. The dealership replaced it. It immediately went out again. So they switched it out again. When I finally took ownership of the truck, so I bought it in Phoenix at Midway Chevrolet. If you talk to Gordon down there, he'll definitely hook you up. That guy was a rock star as far as building this truck for me, because I'm in Salt Lake City, and he just did it all for me. It was great. So anyway, Midway was awesome to work with. But so I fly down to Phoenix to drive the truck home. It's about, I don't know, an 8 or 10 hour drive, I think. I get halfway home and the truck just falls on its face. Check engine code after check engine code. No one could figure out what was wrong with it. I get it home finally, and what had happened was, from the factory, there was a piece of paper in this air box. So this is the giant air cleaner, right? And it goes down. So the air filter's right here, but it sucks air from way down underneath. It had sucked in like a piece of paper from the manufacturer up against the bottom of the air filter. And so the dealership kept taking the air filter out and looking at it. Totally clean, there's nothing wrong with it, but that piece of paper would fall back down inside, and nobody saw it. So the only way we saw it is another dealership they opened the airbox while the truck was running, and that piece of paper was stuck to the air filter, so it was basically choking out the engine. So that's not a big deal, obviously, but I mean, I owned the truck for a month or two before anyone figured out that was the actual problem with it. I didn't get to put it into operation until I'd owned it like 2 months. So they fixed that. Shortly after, the brake switch went out again, they had to fix. The entire DEF system had to be replaced, and this is at only about 10,000 miles or so. Fuel pump, I had a fuel pump go out for the rear tank. So this truck has both fuel tanks, so it's got a total of 65 gallons of fuel, and the rear fuel tank pump went out. So you've got two tanks. The rear is the big one. The fuel pump went out, and it made my fuel gauge not work. And so all I had was access to the front tank, which is only, I want to say 20 gallons or 25 gallons. And, you know, you can imagine I was filling up every day, sometimes twice a day, with the fuel mileage I get with this thing. So they fixed that. I finally have access to the entire fuel system, but that was another back-ordered part, that fuel pump. And I mean, I think I had to wait for that 2 or 3 weeks. So it's just like every single little weird thing you have to wait for. You know, at least that's how it is here. Plus, I can't find, there's one dealership that can work on these big trucks. The dealership closest to me can't. Actually, 2 dealerships close to me can't work on these. So I have to drive about 40 miles just to drop it off. Those are the things I don't like, but the things I do like, I mean, obvious looks of the truck, it looks really, really nice. I get people staring at it. I get a lot of compliments on it. I like the height of the truck. I like that it's a little bit bigger, like than the Fords and the Dodges. I like the interior layout. The interior is very comfortable. And like I said, I think if I didn't have the long wheelbase, obviously it would turn a little sharper, because the wheels actually turn, they cut pretty tight. I like that the DEF reservoir's on the passenger side, so you don't have dummies putting DEF fluid in the diesel or vice versa. I don't like that it has leaf springs. So it's got these big old leaf springs on the front end, and obviously we've got leaf springs on the rear. We've got a big giant pack on the rear. But like the F550s, the Fords have coil springs on the front, and so it's a little softer on the front end. This bounces like a ball when you hit a rough patch on the freeway. But so since I wired the air horn up to the factory horn, when I set the alarm or lock it, you get the air horn chirp, which is pretty cool. But I don't like that the exhaust pipe hangs down really low. Like, you can see how low the exhaust pipe, the muffler, hangs down there. I don't know why that's that low. I mean, that's like 10 inches off the ground. So on a lot of job sites, I have to be really, really careful. I have to have my guys get out and keep an eye on the exhaust pipe so I don't bottom anything out, you know. But other than that, I really like the truck. Everything has worked really, really well. If you're looking at getting a truck like this, man, you've got to go with the lift gate. It makes loading in and out so much easier. So this is the style that, so I've got the switch right here on the back. This is the style that swings open. This is the only way I could get a trailer hitch to work on this truck. Yeah, so once this opens up all the way, you just grab onto this handle. Yeah. It makes loading tools in and out of here so much easier. I think that's about it. I really, really like the truck. I don't like how unreliable it's been so far. I mean, that might just be that they had bugs to work out. I hope that's all it is. You know, this is a 2021 model, so they were pretty new at this point still. Hopefully, and you know, and that's you know, during COVID and all that other crap. So hopefully the supply chain issues and all of the bugs and everything that have been worked out. So I hope this helps somebody. It hasn't been a perfect truck by any means. It looks good. It works when it wants to work. So hopefully this will help somebody out that is interested in buying one of these. Like I said, I'm not a big YouTuber. This isn't what I do. I just thought this might help out a little bit. So anyway, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them the best I can.